Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's the Gooner Tokes, and it's Monday, and the Premier League football is almost all said and done for the weekend, except United, who are playing tonight. So we'll find out how they do a little bit later. But today, it's going to be a special show. I'm going to be talking about my 5 key takeaways from this weekend of Premier League action. But before I do that, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, all that lovely stuff. And yeah, let's just get into it, right? So, I guess where I want to start is with City and this guy, Haaland, who bagged a brace at the weekend. And it's just, City are looking pretty good at the moment. They're playing really well. They're scoring goals. They kept a clean sheet, so they tightened up a little bit at the back, and they're only 2 points behind us now. And Haaland is looking like in ominous form. He's looking unstoppable at the moment, like to the point where the only thing that's going to stop him is like an injury. For all the injuries that Arsenal are getting, can't he just pick up a little hammy? Do you know what I mean? Like nothing like career threatening, but just a little hammy and keep him out for a little bit. But knowing City, they probably find a way to replace him the way they're going at the minute. So it's looking like it's turning into a really interesting battle between City and Arsenal. At least we'll talk about anybody else who might be in the title race. But for now, City are looking in pretty good form, you know. So hopefully in the next game or two, they can drop some points. I don't really see where that's coming from. I thought that they would have dropped some points maybe at Palace. I was thinking Palace would be a really tough game for them. And in the beginning, in the first half, to be honest, Palace could have scored and probably should have scored. And when you don't take your chances like that against City, you're going to get punished. And that's exactly what happened. Haaland bags a brace. He's, on stupid amounts. I've lost track of how many goals this guy scored, but he just keeps on scoring and scoring and breaking records and records. So it's going to be tough, this fight against City, but we just got to keep going, right? And we got to get our players firing like these lot are. But as it stands, City are looking really, really good at the moment. And to be honest, they didn't really have to get out of third gear against Palace. I mean, if Palace had scored, maybe City would have stepped it up a bit. But once Haaland got his first goal, and you know the writing was on the wall there, so it's gonna be tough battling City for the title. But this is what we've been doing for the past few years. We've been preparing for this, and we've gone toe-to-toe with them before. And it's time to finally, maybe try and come out on top. We're going to talk a little bit more about Arsenal later. But for now, City, for me, is, looking like a bit of a threat, really. So we got to be careful. We got to watch our backs. It's only 2 points now, so if we drop any more points, then City are going to be there waiting to pounce. And we've got to make sure that we put some daylight between us and them whenever possible. For me, another huge talking point from the weekend was Aston Villa and this guy, Morgan Rogers. Jeez, his second goal was top draw, top quality, seriously. This guy really is doing the biz for Villa. He's started a bit slow this season, but he's really getting into his rhythm now, and it's a great time for him to get into his rhythm. Villa have now won 9 games in a row. Obviously, they beat Arsenal a couple of games back. They won against West Ham after going down twice in the game and having to come back. And Morgan Rogers is a big reason why the Villa are doing as well as they are. They're right there. They're 3 points behind us. They're only a point behind City. So if we're talking about us and City being in the title race, perhaps we've got to also talk about Aston Villa. I think ultimately it'll be a tall order for them because of their squad. I just don't think they have the depth. But hey, if they keep everybody fit and they manage the squad well, who knows what they could achieve. But I've been really impressed with Villa this season since they got over that beginning. They started quite badly, and they started quite badly, and they're now 3 points behind us. So it's about watching our back with these lot. I quite like the Villa because I used to live in Birmingham. I've said it before, but I'm hoping they drop points now. I am no longer hoping Villa pick up anything. Like, start dropping points. We can't be fighting Villa and City seriously is peak, But I've been really impressed with them. They play well as a team. They attack well. They're really resilient. They're really strong. We saw that in the game of Arsenal against Aston Villa when we played away, and yeah, it was a tough game. Didn't get anything out of it. Probably didn't deserve much out of it, but to lose with the last kick of the game, it just shows you that Villa are a team that are not going to just, sit down and give up when the going gets tough. And Emery's a good manager and he's got them playing the way he wants them to play. Everybody's kind of bought into it. And Morgan Rogers is a shining light for Aston Villa. So fair play to them. Like I said, I hope they start dropping some points soon. I would love for us to just get back to a bigger cushion that we had against some teams below us. But for now, it is what it is, and you got to give Villa their props. To be fair, coming from a goal down twice in a game away from home, fair play. Do you know what I mean? But seriously, that second goal from Morgan Rogers, whew, incredible. And yeah, I think Villa are definitely a threat when the going gets tough in Europe. Then okay, maybe we can see what how difficult it might get for them and how they manage their squad. But for now, they're doing phenomenally, to be honest. And yeah, I rate Morgan Rogers. If he can, I don't know, help Villa pick up a trophy this season, then maybe he's going to be ready to move at the end of the season. But I think he's at a great club and probably in the perfect place for him. So fair play. But if he continues like that this season, come the end of the season, there's going to be a lot of clubs looking to sign Morgan Rogers, not just in the Premier League, but, Europe and beyond. So fair play, great win for the Villa and great goal from Morgan Rogers. So yeah, Villa are a little bit of a problem at the moment, They're not going anywhere. So we got to watch our back for these lot. Definitely. And then another thing that caught my eye over the weekend was this guy, Ekitike. Do you know what I mean? For me, it's unquestionable that, he's well ahead of Isak now. I think buying Isak was not really something Liverpool had to do once they brought in Ekitike, and he'd started so well, and bringing Isak in kind of messed up the rhythm of the team a little bit. So he starts against Brighton and he gets the goal within 30 seconds. He smashes it in the back of the net. Okay, fair play. Bad mistake from Brighton there. They just gifted them the opportunity, but you got to put them away. And fair play to Ekitike. He's doing the biz for them. And for me, way better than Isak this season. It's not even debatable. So he's the first name on the team sheet when you're looking at strikers. Really, he's the guy that's been on form, and he should never have been dropped in the first place just because Isak suddenly became fit and available. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what that means for Isak. Liverpool are going to have to find a way to make it work because they spent a lot of money on him. But Liverpool as well, they picked up a big win against Brighton. They've been a bit up and down really this season, and so for them to have a settled team and have a settled rhythm, settled strike force, settled attack, I think would be a big thing for them. And they need to just keep playing Ekitike as long as he's available and fit, and he doesn't need a rest. Keep playing him. Isak is going to have to fight for his spot, to be fair, and it's going to be an interesting battle. But for me, Ekitike, I was impressed with him, the way he started the season, and now he's showing. He's sitting Isak on the bench, and that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be getting into the squad just on name recognition or just because they spent X, Y, Z. You gotta earn your place. They spent a good amount on Ekitike as well. So yeah, they were always gonna pay a premium for Isak, but that don't mean that he should be starting. And fair play to Arne Slot for keeping Isak on the bench and making Ekitike start, and Isak has to work to get back into the team. Do you know what I mean? So fair play. That's how it should be. It was a great goal he scored against Brighton, that first one from Ekitike. So fair play for me. He really made a statement at the weekend. Like, yeah, this is my position, and if you want to play Isak, then you got to be scoring, because when I'm playing, I'm scoring. So yeah, fair play. I rate Ekitike. He's a good player. So I think Liverpool need to continue in that way. Keep on playing Ekitike, and I think he'll do well for them. In lighter news, oh my God. Spurs be Spursing. You get me? Vicario, this guy is like, I mean, I never really thought he was that great a keeper, but geez, he's just completely lost all confidence in himself. Nothing he's doing is right. I mean, he's making mistakes game in, game out, and putting the team under pressure, putting Thomas Frank under pressure. Yo, I rated Thomas Frank, and I thought he was going to come in and do well at Spurs. My mates in the group were like, nah, it's Spurs, mate. I was like, yeah, watch, yo, bigger for me, because Spurs are looking in trouble. That was a terrible, terrible loss. Kicked off by Vicario doing some nonsense again. He should never have played that ball into Archie Gray. I don't think it's fair to blame Archie Gray. He was under pressure straight away. They knew that's the thing with Vicario now. It's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy because everybody knows he's weak now, weak mentally, and they're going to keep, testing that out. So, yo, long may that last, because watching Spurs lose is always funny. Excuse me. And Vicario, wow. Spurs are going to need to make a big change in terms of goalkeeper. I think they're going to have to make a signing in January to replace this guy. I mean, he's completely costing them goals, costing them points, costing them, I don't know, it's peak. This guy is one of the worst goalkeepers in the league. He's got, you remember when Robert Sanchez for Chelsea was always making mistakes and stuff like that? Now it's Vicario, game in, game out. You guarantee, put it on him, he doesn't like it. He's really uncomfortable, really unsure of himself. And Spurs, wow, what a loss. They are in 11th in the league. They finished 17th last season, so yo, another bottom half finish beckons, and if they're not careful, they're going to be in a relegation battle. That would be hilarious. I will pay money to watch Spurs going down. You get me? Going from Europa League winners. I can't even believe they have the nerve to talk about Europa League after the shambles was their season. And it's carrying on again. So, long may that continue. Thomas Frank, man, I thought you would do well. And yeah, I thought it would be a good move. But Spurs is the history of the Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? And Vicario, yo, he's going to be history from Tottenham soon. That's for sure. Because he cannot be the starting goalkeeper for a top Premier League side and be doing stuff like that week in, week out. Yo, it's peak. And then, yo, finally, I guess there's only one place to finish, and that's with the Arsenal. And my key takeaway from this weekend with regards to Arsenal is that, I don't know, they're not coping with the pressure well. There's a lot of things that you can talk about in terms of injuries and players have played a lot of minutes and this, that and the other. But when players can't do the basic things right, where a couple of months ago we were doing them like we were breathing, then that has to be a little bit of a mentality issue. And it feels like the pressure has got a little bit to the Arsenal guys, and they need to manage that. They need to manage that a little bit better. Hopefully this week gives a bit of a reset. Maybe we can put things into perspective when we look back on stuff and see that we're still top of the league and we've not been playing well and we're still there. And yeah, City are looking good, but they're having to play out of their skin to keep pace with us. Villa too. I don't know how sustainable that is. It's not sustainable us keeping on playing, so poorly and thinking we're going to keep picking up points because we got out of jail against Wolves. And so I don't know what's going on. I think maybe we missed the mentality of Gabriel. I think that's something that, forget about his ability as a defender. His mentality is something that I think is unmatched in the squad, and it just gives everybody else that extra boost, that extra confidence, that extra swagger. And that's what we're missing at the moment. We're missing that swagger that we've had during this season. And I really think it's a pressure thing. So we need to manage that pressure a little bit better. There's pressure all over the place. And yeah, you're going to have to deal with it. You can't let it exceed your ability to cope. That's when things get, that's when you start losing games. That's when you start, misplacing passes. And it seems like that's, something we've got to learn to manage a little bit better. So I'm hoping a little bit of decompression now. The lads have got a couple of days off. Hopefully that helps us, get our minds right. We've lost Ben White for a month. I mean, as soon as I saw him holding his hamstring, I knew it was over for a little while. Ben White, he doesn't get a one-day injury. He'll usually get something that keeps him out for a little bit. So him playing in that game was probably, in hindsight, not the best decision. But Arsenal need to get the mentality right again. That's it. We need to refocus and reset and understand that, yo, we are a good side. We're a great side. Watch back some of the tapes. Watch the Bayern Munich game back, feel that magic again and yeah, believe in yourself, because sometimes when you lack that belief, or it manifests in games like against Wolves. So I hope that that's the end of it. We draw a line in the sand, but yeah, we need some better performances to go along with the points that we're picking up. So for me, those are the main talking points from the weekend. We're still top of the league. There's a long way to go. It's still busy period. We've got a lot of games over the winter period. So hopefully City and Villa can drop a few points and we can pick up, some points where they falter. And yeah, but that's the big talking points from the weekend. Haaland and City looking, unstoppable at the moment. Villa as well. Morgan Rogers, wow, what a player. Ekitike has got to be the starter ahead of Isak. It's as simple as Isak needs to work to get back in the team. Spurs, hilarious. Keep doing you. And then Arsenal, let's deal with that pressure a little bit better and play with a bit more freedom, a bit more joy. That's what's missing a little bit from our performances so far. So yeah, that's what I think about the weekend. Hey, you know what to do. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, help me grow the community, all that lovely stuff. I'll see you next time. Have a great evening, people. Peace. Bye.